Doomsday device connecting momentarily, perhaps unintentionally.
In one of the most jaw-dropping moments in recent WWE history, the unthinkable happened. Dean Ambrose walked back into Monday Night Raw. But this wasn't the quirky anti-hero of old. This was Jon Moxley, unhinged, dangerous, and dead set on vengeance. As Seth Rollins soaked in his latest victory, the lights cut out, the arena held its breath, and when they flickered back on, Moxley stood center ring, eyes blazing with fury. What followed wasn't nostalgia. It was a declaration of war. With Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker in his sights, Moxley made it clear, this isn't about reuniting the Shield. It's about revenge, receipts, and a reckoning that begins at SummerSlam. WWE will never be the same. Ambrose declares war. Ambrose didn't walk to the ring, he stalked it. Each step was a message, each twitch of his fingers like a trigger being cocked. He didn't grab a mic to talk, he grabbed the moment by the throat. Locking eyes with a stunned Rollins, he tapped his temple with a single finger and growled, "Remember this face, Seth, because it's the last thing Heyman's new pet project is going to see before I put him down." The words dripped with venom, the delivery unhinged. In that instant, the carefully laid empire Paul Heyman had been building around Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker began to crack. Ambrose's presence wasn't just a return, it was a declaration of psychological and physical warfare. Disrupting the empire Rollins' new empire with Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker had run unchecked for months. Breaker was the enforcer, raw power, youth, aggression. Rollins was the visionary, strategy, flair, and arrogance personified. Heyman was the mastermind, pulling the strings with cold brilliance. Together they had steamrolled the competition. Until now, Ambrose's return wasn't scripted into their plans. It was a shot through the glass tower they had built, a jagged, bloody reminder that legacy cannot be rewritten without ghosts clawing their way out of the past. Violence unleashed. The confrontation didn't stay verbal for long. As Breaker exploded toward Ambrose with a spear, the veteran ducked with savage grace, sending the rookie careening into the barricade. Without missing a beat, Ambrose countered by DDTing him onto the concrete with a bone-crunching thud that silenced the arena for a heartbeat. As Rollins scrambled toward his fallen ally, Ambrose turned his fury to Heyman. The crowd collectively inhaled as he grabbed the legendary advocate by his pristine $5,000 silk tie and yanked him forward. "You picked the wrong horse, Paul." The line was hissed more than spoken, like steam escaping a boiling kettle. The spiked chain returns. Then came the real gut punch. From under his vest, Ambrose pulled out something that sent chills down veteran fans' spines. A spiked steel chain, weathered and stained with echoes of past wars. The same chain from the Shield's darkest days, once a symbol of vengeance and violent brotherhood, was now a harbinger of destruction. Ambrose wrapped it around his fist, his knuckles whitening under the pressure, and raised the mic one final time. "SummerSlam, no DQ, you, me, and all the receipts from 2014. Tell Braun to bring a neck brace." The mic dropped with a thud, but its impact echoed louder than any chair shot. The arena shook, social media melted. 1,000 replays couldn't capture the chaos unfolding. Backstage chaos and contract. Bombshell. Backstage, panic spread like wildfire. Production crews scrambled, agents barked into headsets, and superstars peeked out from behind curtains. Dean Ambrose wasn't on the rundown. This wasn't supposed to happen. Sources confirmed shortly after that Ambrose's appearance was no ordinary return. Under a rare agreement between WWE and AEW, brokered in secrecy, Ambrose would be allowed limited WWE appearances while still remaining AEW's top star. The wrestling world tilted on its axis. This wasn't just shocking, it was unprecedented. Never before had a star of Moxley's magnitude been given this kind of dual contracted freedom. The forbidden door hadn't just been cracked open, it had been kicked off the hinges by a lunatic. Heyman shaken, Breaker rattled Heyman, always the composed manipulator, was visibly shaken. Cameras caught him backstage whispering nervously to Rollins, "We didn't prepare for this version of him." And how could they? This wasn't the slightly comedic Ambrose who once poured mustard on opponents or chased a potted plant. This was Jon Moxley, the deathmatch veteran, the blood-soaked destroyer who reinvented himself in barbed wire and fire. Breaker, the so-called future of WWE, demanded that creative upgrade the match stipulation. "No holds barred," he snarled. "Let's see how unhinged he really is." Roman Reigns watches from the shadows. And then quietly, almost like a phantom presence, he emerged in the background of this chaos, the tribal chief himself. Roman Reigns didn't speak. He didn't glare. He didn't flinch. He merely watched. Arms crossed, expression unreadable, eyes like steel beneath the glow of the backstage monitors. 1/3 of the Shield stood silently as the other two combusted before his very eyes. He had seen this war coming, perhaps even predicted it. The implosion of Rollins and Ambrose wasn't just inevitable, it was fate. And Roman, the last remaining pillar of the dynasty they built, was calculating, plotting, maybe even preparing for the day when the war reaches his doorstep. Beyond Revenge, a legacy rewritten. This isn't a storyline built on shock value. It's rooted in history, in blood, in legacy. Dean Ambrose isn't back to sell merch or reunite the Shield for a cheap pop. No, this return was forged in the ashes of everything Rollins built. Ashes that Ambrose believes he was buried under for far too long. Before Seth became the visionary, before the architect could design his kingdom, someone had to sacrifice. That someone was Ambrose. For years, he swallowed betrayal like poison, manipulated, discarded, mocked, until the man fans once loved became something far darker. He left WWE, found himself in barbed wire and broken glass, and forged a new name in pain, Moxley. Now he returns not to recapture glory, but to finish what was never resolved. This isn't nostalgia. This is exorcism, from Dean Ambrose to Jon Moxley. What's standing across from Seth Rollins at SummerSlam isn't the Dean Ambrose who squirted ketchup on Kane or told bedtime stories in gas masks. That man died somewhere between a cracked elbow and a bitter promo in 2019. What remains is Jon Moxley, a savage born in a deathmatch circuit, hardened by combat sports hellscapes, and sharpened by purpose. No jackets, no goofy quirks, no Shield cosplay, just grit, fury, and a chain-wrapped fist ready to shatter illusions. Moxley isn't here to entertain. He's here to hurt, to dismantle, to remind Seth Rollins and the entire WWE universe that the architect built his empire on a cracked foundation, and Moxley is here to watch it crumble. The Shield's ghosts come home. The ghosts of the Shield no longer haunt WWE. They've returned with fists, fire, and unfinished business. SummerSlam isn't just another main event. It's a reckoning between legacy and survival. It's a battle between the corporate blueprint Paul Heyman drafted and the chaos Moxley brings from the indies, from AEW, from the depths of his soul. It's not just Ambrose versus Rollins. It's brother versus brother, past versus present, and the price, everything. This war will leave more than blood on the canvas. It will tear open the emotional scars of 10 years of betrayal, ego, and destruction. The crowd won't be chanting, "This is awesome." They'll be witnessing a funeral, for innocence, for friendship, for what the Shield once was. A new era of unpredictability. With one shocking, chaotic return, WWE has entered uncharted territory. Ambrose, Moxley, has breached the forbidden door, dragging AEW's aura with him into WWE's neatly polished production. No rules, no boundaries, no guarantees. Is this a one-time cross-brand reckoning, or has something far more permanent shifted beneath the surface? As rumors swirl about Moxley's limited appearance clause and AEW's silent approval, one thing is crystal clear: WWE will never be the same again, and neither will Seth Rollins. Final thoughts. Get ready for war, so smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell. Because this feud didn't just ignite, it went nuclear. Dean Ambrose didn't return for nostalgia or redemption. He returned to burn it all down. This isn't the Shield reunion fans dreamed of. This is a declaration of war. SummerSlam is no longer just a premium live event. It's ground zero for the most unhinged confrontation in years. Rollins has never faced this version of Ambrose. No, Moxley. And if the rumors are true, if the chain-wrapped fists and whispered threats are just the beginning, then WWE's so-called new empire is in for a reckoning they didn't plan for. Paul Heyman picked the wrong man to bet on. Braun Breaker's neck might not survive. And if Ambrose is bringing those backpack stabbings back to WWE, then God help everyone in his warpath. Because this time, the lunatic isn't just fringe, he's the storm.